chicken.
Welcome to today's topic, everybody. Have you ever liked anything, let alone been a part of a fan base? Then you had that one person come in and say something so off, as if they were an android from Skynet themselves.
Plug. You can do the rump shaker, huh? The thud shaker, give me the thud shaker, just shake your ass.
Like you know they motherboard be heating up inside after you call out the blatant bottery under their skin and the oil breath. And I'm not just talking about the bots that love to copy and paste Reddit takes. I'm also talking about the casual colonizers, the bandwagoners, and the people who love to fetishize that they're hot, but they're still in a geeky fan base. Now, don't get that confused with someone who either found out that the character or media that they love was through a particular trending movie or through TikTok.
Don't leave me behind.
And also understand that my issue, and it should be no one's issue, isn't that they didn't get into it just about an hour ago, because the time it was gotten into should never matter. Like, nobody should be judged under the fake fan label because they weren't there when Tupac was born. But that goes to say as well that any property shouldn't be treated like they have an expiration date. Growing out of it organically is the only acceptable way here. I mean, let's be honest with ourselves here. To a degree, we've all been that one person who had a really awesome song on Spotify, or a really funny meme we had in our gallery we found off of TikTok.
Homie, you want some of this thick Marge ass?
But it starts to become a problem when you don't like it genuinely and you like it because it's cool to like it, meaning that it's nothing more than a trending fad, something to like of the time until the relevancy has came and went, becoming old and expired.
Look at you, still up and kicking, are ya? Oh, I'm just getting started.
Meaning that you genuinely don't like Silent Hill, you just hopped on the wave because you're trying to get clicks on your profile or fit in within the internet group. And I don't mean like fit in like genuinely like you have innocent intentions. I mean you're trying to be weird and parasitic about it, like you have I want attention syndrome or something. And I already hear all the naysayers out there.
It's not that deep. Let people like what they like.
That's the funny part though. They don't like that stuff at all. They only like being on the bandwagon to either be the center of attention or have something to cling on and be entitled to and judge the ones after them. They can sit there and do the research, they can sit there and buy all the cosplay and merch, but if they never really had any genuine love in the first place for the thing, then what was really gained? What was the whole point of it? They are crazy enough to drain their bank accounts and their time into all that, only to possibly leave it behind once it goes away. I mean, I've met people like that and it's insane how they go about life. They seem like the type of people to have lived to fandom colonize as a corny ass tattoo quote on their forearm.
Whoa, you gotta say tattoo.
Not to mention, activities like this and an idealization like this is also harmful to the actual fans. Because let's say we meet someone that has these Silent Hill type of aesthetics on their profile picture. Okay, I'm a Silent Hill fan and I want to talk to another Silent Hill fan, but they either don't know the characters and lore or they could literally care less to have a conversation. This not only wastes our time, but it also costs us embarrassment, and we could have had a good discussion with an actual fan elsewhere. Like, how is this poser going to look at me like I'm wrong talking about my interests that they pretend to like? Yeah, my bad for liking the thing that I actually care about. Then there are specific cases like the Deadpool game or the Devil May Cry Netflix series, where people like the wrong adaptation. I mean, sure, for what they are, you can enjoy it, I have no issue with that. But when you try to make something that was your first exposure and your standard become the standard, that's when you know you lost the plot. Then you somehow feel entitled to tell people who have been in the fandom, who love the character and knew the character before you did, how to feel about the character, like forcing them your opinion, as if it's fact. Like, who the hell gave you a badge and the grizzly bear pubic hairs on your upper lip you call a cop mustache? Like, watch out, yo, we got the casual coppers out here patrolling the streets who think that the true version of Lady is a potty mouth because they watch one Netflix show, and Nolan North is the only one who can voice Deadpool because they played the one game. Like, get your ass out of here with that shit, man. This is especially prevalent in hip-hop nowadays as well. I could honestly make a whole iceberg video on how these moronic and ironic Kendrick stans move. I had a problem with Eminem stans in the past despite being one of the biggest Eminem fans myself. Same thing with Drake stans.
Anita Maxwin. Anita Maxwin.
But I've never had a bigger chip on my shoulder than with the Kendrick stans. They have got to be the most definitive definition of the worst fan base in hip hop of all time. And yeah, I mean all time. You thought it was bad enough that Tupac and Eminem could shart on a mic and you'd get a knife to your throat if you didn't call it a masterpiece and put other stands before? Think again. Not only do we have these shills cook up cope excuses from the copy pasta shit take witch pot made for a grown ass man so hard by them using the whole "he's not your savior" excuse and the "just a rap battle" excuse despite him cosplaying Jesus Christ like he's trying to rival the real life Peter Griffin cosplayer for who's the most accurate depiction of the character ever.
Is that a chimichanga in your pocket? You're just happy to see me.
A little bit of both.
But Kendrick stands have this automatic urge to take away the ADD thrown away from me, which I don't know how that's possible. Because if you know me, I'm like the LeBron James of having ADD, but they still are very possible of taking that throne. Because last time I checked, Kendrick multiple times throughout the beef with Drake has mentioned that this was deeper than rap at that point because Drake took it so personally when it was originally supposed to be a friendly rap contest, no different than what Kendrick intended back in the Controlverse in the early 2010s. These fans are clearly newer ones, and if they are older ones, they've gotta be brainwashed, because somehow they're saying that Drake automatically lost because in Family Matters he mentioned multiple other people than Kendrick. They're acting like Eminem and 50 Cent didn't do this in the early 2000s when they were known as the face of dissers in hip-hop. Speaking of Eminem, they are also so disconnected not just from hip-hop, but how Eminem was a rapper back in his prime in those days. So much so that they genuinely believe that a washed Kendrick could still destroy a prime Eminem. That crack pipe must be hitting real nice and slow in the veins, and especially that allergy-ridden walnut you call a brain. When you make that statement, you're easily telling me that you don't listen to hip-hop without telling me you don't listen to hip-hop and Eminem. I don't know whether it's just as bad or worse than saying that Batman, a street-level character, could take on Goku. Like, you clown-ass shills are no different than the modern Batman fans just guzzling and hustling away on Batman's nuts and just eating out of his toilet bowl. No, I'm not exaggerating or joking. Like, think about it here. Like how all the Batman guzzlers always be like, oh, well, Batman has prep time, so he can't lose. It's the same thing with Kendrick Lamar. It's like, oh, well, he's not your savior, so he can't be criticized. Or, oh, it's just a rap battle, so he can collab with anybody he wants to, even though he morally grandstands. Like, even a blind man can see this comparison. And it's beyond sad. Like, you guys stay slurping and burping off of the tickle pickle of them both until you finally had your daily dose of coke juice. And then you come back for the next day.
On the next day. On the next day. And the next day. And the next day. And the next day.
Phone call, Mr. Plankton.
And the next day. And the next day. And the next day. And the next day.
An unfortunate phenomenon I just listed right there is what I like to call casual entitlement, or the casual colonizer effect, where they will enter a fandom and be exposed to the first thing they see, which is more often than not a crappier, newer side of the franchise or character. Then they want to LARP as OGs of the fandom and gatekeep any future people and say that the older people who are fans of what was genuinely better, to be brutally honest, as yesteryear fans who are dated in taste. They don't just take forms of worthless commenters on the internet, they also take forms of people who will dress up as a character, fetishizing that character in the idea of a geeky hot fan showing the sexy one can like it too, but without actually liking it. But in the same breath, these are the same people who are not anticipating the next entry of the character, whether it would be a comic or otherwise. Only really the mainstream stuff that are exposed to the larger audiences. And inherently, of course that's not bad. If you just somehow want to stick to the Deadpool movies, I can respect that. But don't go around parading yourself like you're the ultimate Deadpool fan and you know what's best for the character and telling the OGs, let alone, how to like the character when they've known the character and bought the merch before you probably were even born. And at worst, you should never be that person that confuses a yes man with a fan, berating other people who want to criticize the franchise or character they love to better hope for a better future for the franchise or the character that they love, to brand them as a negative Nancy who really doesn't love the character or franchise because they say something negative, when they should be loving it no matter what, even if it's a pile of slop and shit. Just slap the sticker of the recognizable logo of the character or the franchise you love, and it's good because it's that. No, The Fast and the Furious franchise started off strong and amazingly, but just because they are considered classics doesn't mean that they can't fall from grace. That is the same thing with the Tekken franchise or any other franchise that was also in legendary status or cult-like fanbase status. There is Spider-Man media that can be bad. There is Batman media that can be bad. People like Michael Jackson and Prince are capable of making stinkers. Tupac can also make pretty bad albums. Nobody is exempt from this. To wake up and understand that is to wake up and tell yourself that you deserve better products. You owe it to yourself, whether you are an old or new fan. You put your money into this, you've put your time into this, and you've put your love into this. Whether it was deep and a long time, or it was shallow and just now, you're going to expectedly like it more and more, meaning that you're going to be like the older fans, putting in the equivalent of what they already put in. And even whether it's after all that fidelity or the fidelity has just begun, you mean to tell me that we're supposed to accept slop? No, we are not getting the bottom of the barrel. We are not getting the lowest hanging fruit. We are getting what we expected to get. We are getting what we deserve to get. Sure, it's the other person's completely different art, but if it was made for us before, it should not be made for somebody else that doesn't love it or care about it. It's dumb. It's like if I love tacos and then someone makes me tacos and I love it, right? Only for the other person to pretend to like tacos, and then all of a sudden my tacos end up being dog shit and their tacos are amazing. Like that person's just only using you because they know tacos are cool. Meanwhile, the real taco eaters like me are suffering here because you want to cater to the people that don't give a damn about tacos. Like what gives, man? Does my fidelity mean nothing to you now? They're only going to be there until tacos are no longer cool, until they are just some trending fad, and then they go on and move to the next big thing. While I'm here still at the table waiting for what I used to get. And sometimes corporations do that. They answer adjustingly and they do what they do. Give you what you deserve. Have enough cojones and the heart to do that, which is something very respectful and I wish was way more common than it already is. But what's worse is that most of the time, companies take notice of this and they purposely plan to ride the character or franchise in favor of the newer fans, as they are somehow misconceptive about the years and years worth of support and impact made for this thing to be possible for the character or franchise in the first place. Because let's face the reality here, there would be no 2013 Deadpool game or possibly even a movie if there wasn't any OG fans in the first place. But companies and especially fans undermine that and pretend that the only way to make the character or franchise now is how it was whenever it was first exposed to the casual public. You have to make Dante like the Netflix version. You have to make Deadpool like the video game version. You have to make all these Fast and Furious movies like the recent versions. It doesn't matter if it's somehow considered the lesser or diet version of the character before. Flanderization who? Bastardization what? It's the popular version of the character. Who cares? It's such a flimsy excuse because honestly, yes, there are some dated stuff in the older adaptations of said character or franchises, but that doesn't mean that it will just wreck shit from there. No, actually, it would probably do it more justice if they ever did that. Again, look at the Deadpool movies. The 2013 game ditched anything that the old Deadpool really represented aside from his comedy side. But the movies, despite fans of the game saying that it wouldn't work if he was back to his old roots, did just that. They made him more of a tragedy behind the comedy character, and it did wonders for the first and second movie. This went on to make him break the record for having the highest grossing rated R film of all time, and that's because the first two movies were so good. Looks like all that policing and all that hard work of gatekeeping about a character you don't know about paid off, didn't it? But that's not to say that there isn't any way to have a bad back to basics thing. Oh my god, what is this? What was the whole point of the Black Ops 4 ending? Why are they back? Who cares, bro? Just let people have their enjoyment and be happy. Yeah, son, that's what you call blind ignorance. Like, why do you think Tekken 8 is called the most disappointing entry in the franchise of Tekken? Oh, I don't know, it's because people got a little too optimistic like they did with the slop game Tekken 7, and their expectations were dropped way low because they expected too much. This is nothing different than in this game. They are bringing back the OG crew, which I don't know whether they're going to act like Primus or Ultimus, but regardless, they brought back a recognizable crew, people are going to get happy, Activision is going to let them down again, and they're going to be mad as if they can't play themselves. It's cool to enjoy yourself, but when you get mad at other people for not being vigilant yourself, you just look like a fool. And that's not even mentioning the newer COD Zombies fan trying to gatekeep and protect the fact that nowadays zombie maps are just nothing but a glorified Easter egg chase when they used to be very optional for fun and not the required objective path to have fun. Like, you didn't have to keep on pulling out a Mr. Raffle Waffles video to enjoy a zombies map like you do nowadays. Of course, there are good examples of maps that balance both of them, like Mob of the Dead doing it buttery smooth, but unfortunately, most of the maps out there don't really follow suit. And then they try to pay tribute by making either cameos or inspired game design from the older maps in Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 4 and onwards, but it comes off as more of a grim reminder and spit to the face rather than a homage. Like, I'm not gonna get too into it, but bringing back Brutus and just trying to headcanon him as the Warden just does not work. Making Weasel a seagull? Like, what is this Dr. Seuss ass shit, dude? And this is not even mentioning the countless stuff they do to also nostalgia bait when it comes to pre-orders and campaigns and so on. It's sad to see because, you know, WWE games and sports games also do this as well, but in a very sloppy corporate way. I don't know if you've noticed this or not, but that stuff doesn't really matter when it's already forced into a place of a dried poison well. And in a world where the new fans or the new gatekeepers try to come in and see you as bad faith or mean-spirited because you criticize a franchise or character you love hoping for the best, and corporations just trying to cash in on nostalgia while feeding the new crowd the franchise or a character that was clearly not meant for them, you have people like us who are gatekeeping to not only protect but help and hope the IP prospers along with the fandom. Yep, that's where we come in. This is something that we definitely should use by using our gatekeeping persona to defend against the casual shadows. Okay, that was corny, it's a persona joke, but hey, if you play the game and you know the franchise, then you get the joke. But that's why gatekeeping actually works, and it actually helps if you use it right. There's always a yin to a yang, a water to a fire, a dark to a light, and a gatekeeper to a casual colonization. Whether you do this with culture, ideology, philosophy, or entertainment, do it with care, do it with fairness, and most of all, do it with good intentions. Sometimes the casual colonizer will understand the error of their ways and understand what's wrong, whereas other times, of course, that casual entitlement would become so strong it will basically be like an RPG boss that you face in a Dark Souls game. We too have a responsibility, and that's really to just make sure that everybody respects the IP, fandom, and fans alike. We shouldn't shun people for the stupidest reasons, nor should we be shunned for the stupidest reasons. This type of stuff for prosperity of the things that we love can go both ways and should go both ways. We both have a responsibility, whether we are the new fan or old fan, and that's all I really want to say here. Gatekeeping does matter, gatekeeping is okay, and gatekeeping works. It is okay to gatekeep, just so as long as I said, you do it with the right intentions and good spirit.